Cricket's back on 4 with highlights of the first day's play between England and South Africa.
Today, the eagerly anticipated 5-match test series between South Africa and England gets underway at the Wanderers Stadium in Johannesburg, South Africa's capital city. First to arrive early this morning was Hansie Cronje's South African team, and no doubt who was the talk of the town. It was ALLAN, of course, the great fast bowler who was past fit yesterday and is ready to resume his titanic battle with Michael Atherton. When England arrived minutes later, there were new names to pick out, men who had had such a good tour so far. And there was the old hand, Atherton himself, briefly doubtless basking in the memory of that glorious match-saving innings here 4 years ago. Yes, Test cricket is back on Channel 4, and it's good to be with you again. We're going to be bringing you highlights of the whole of this 5-match series, and indeed the 10 one-day internationals that follow when Zimbabwe make up the triangular tournament that gets going in the new year. Now then, here at Johannesburg, it was a cloudy sort of morning, humid, and the toss was going to be very important. It was won by Hansie Cronje, and it was no great surprise when he chose to field first. These are the teams announced by the captains. Let's have a look at the South Africans first. They've got Paul Adams in, the spinner there. That's a surprise. Everybody thought the quick bowler Brugge might be in the side, but they've gone for balance, and Adams, that unorthodox wrist spinner, will play, and so will Gary Kirsten and Herschel Gibbs. They are fit again and will take their place at the top of the order. The England team, well, that does make for an interesting read. Atherton and Butcher there at the top of the order. There are 3 new caps. Gavin Hamilton, the Yorkshire all-rounder, is there down the bottom of the list, and above him 2 batsmen who have played very well on this tour. Chris Adams, the Sussex captain, and Michael Vaughan of Yorkshire. Andrew Flintoff, who's only had 2 test matches so far in his life, both of those incidentally against the South Africans. He is in the side as well, so plenty of counter-attackers there in the England ranks. A great anticipation, as I said earlier, here this morning in Johannesburg. We're going to pick up play with Mark Butcher facing the first ball of the series.
Bouncer, loosener, we're on our way. Well, Michael Atherton, 91 test matches. His highest innings, 168. 168 innings. His best, of course, that mammoth innings of 185 not out against South Africa right here. Bowled him out! Little bit of an inside edge, I think, but certainly in swing. Donald strikes in the first over.
Combination of speed and big late in swing from Allan Donald gets the breakthrough. Atherton's feet not quite moving as he would like early on in his innings, but that's a lot easier said than done, mostly when you're facing someone of Allan Donald's pace. What a way to end the first over. And you can see there the late in swing. Mike Atherton caught on the crease to a certain degree, and Allan Donald delighted. 1 for 1, and it's only the first over of the test.
That's a great delivery. It's taken off from nowhere. The England captain is out for naught, so that's Atherton and Hussain. What a strike from these 2 South African fast bowlers.
Well, I suppose he's got the men to exploit any kind of decision he makes, but really, Hansie Cronje, well done on winning this toss. And that's shortish, but not that short, and it's climbed and it's got big on him. He just can't get out the way. He's committed to playing the shot. He can't drop the hands in time. and all he can do is fend it off towards the gully.
So Hussein then out for naught. England 2 for 2. That's well bowled, and Butcher goes. Well, what can you say? We've said enough about this toss, but Donald has got it all right this morning. It's one thing winning a toss, you've still got to bowl it in the right place.
Well, Cronje looking a bit pensive there, but I think he's just trying to control his glee at having won that toss. But look at that again, movement through the air and then accentuated off the pitch. And has that come off the edge or the back leg?
Mark Butcher out for 1, England 2 for 3. Same field for Stewart as was set for Atherton. Oh, and he's bowled him out with a huge in-swinging Yorker. No, he has an LBW. I thought I saw a bail fly. My mistake, but the ultimate result is the same. Stewart gone, first ball for naught.
Well, just look at the line that this ball starts on. It must be at least a foot to even a foot and a half outside that off stump. And it's swinging back viciously. Starts around about a foot outside that off stump, swinging a lot, hits him on the front foot. And the only doubt that could be in the umpire's mind was whether that was going to swing down the leg side or not. Not in the opinion of Dave Orchard. And Alex Stewart is out for one of his rare ducks in his career. 4 wickets, 2 runs.
Cuts away 4. I think that's the way to bat here.
No doubt about it.
It's a question of scoring, isn't it? You could say, well, he could have left that alone, but you're not going to get a run otherwise. The ball is doing so much at the moment. A little bit of width offered by Donald. And Adams climbed in. In the air, but it flies down for 4.
Well, now, what does Cronje do? He knows that Allan Donald is swinging the ball into the right-hander, and for that reason has had the man behind square on the leg side, and only 2 slips. But his bowler is on top of his game today.
In the air again, and it's over into that vacant spot. That's just where Hansie Cronje has moved the man from, back there at third man, and no real attempt to keep that one down by Michael Vaughan, knowing that there isn't a man in the catching position deep.
Oh, that went right through.
Now that's the link that I would like to see Shaun Pollock bowling a little more often if he can. Not that easy to do because it's quite a lot further up than he normally would bowl, but this was unplayable. Nice high action, as you see, close to the stumps, and then he's drawn forward, and look at that. Absolutely unplayable. Superb delivery.
Oh, this is smashed away for 4 more. I think it'll go there. It will indeed. This is the way Adams plays. Too short and wide from Allan Donald.
Yes, the pitch isn't all that quick, so if you drop it short, and that's what I've been saying, is it's very important for the bowler to keep the ball on a good line and length. See how short that was. Now he got onto the front foot and slashed it away there, knowing that there's no real chance of a catch.
Oh, that's a nasty blow. That will have hurt. It ends what was something of an indifferent over from Allan Donald. 5 runs from it with the wide, 26 for 4. This is struck through the covers and is going to be 4 runs. And that is the first, shall we say, copybook shot that we've seen go for runs today.
Yes, but that's the chance that Shaun Pollock has to take. He's got to keep it right up there to encourage the batsman. He won't be disappointed that the batsman has now driven this. You see, he didn't get far forward. The ball was in the air.
This is played nicely away through mid-wicket. The captain's after it, and he will haul it in, but they'll be able to get a comfortable 3. The outfield is not that fast because we had quite a bit of rain last night.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone. I don't know whether we're going to call that a bit of bad luck or a bit of bad judgment from Adams. I think the ball got bigger on him than he thought it was going to. That is a very disappointing blow because England have lost a wicket to a bad ball.
Yes, Donald he must consider himself a little bit fortunate here. Extra bounce though, perhaps hitting the seam and getting that extra bounce. But Adams unlucky because he looked like he was playing it, as you say, got big on him, in a way tried to retract, maybe drop his hands a fraction, but just taking the top of the handle.
It's absolutely extraordinary how often a wicket falls after a break. We've just had the drinks break. There's the end of Adams. That is a beautiful stroke. Watch the ball clipped away off the toes for 10 years and you won't see it done easier than that. And it's safe. It's a pretty unconvincing pull stroke from Flintoff. It was almost as if he'd set himself thinking, well, we might get a loose ball first up here from Cronje.
Yes, Cronje often gets a few wickets because the opposition batsmen underestimate him to a certain degree. He hits the seam, he bowls from very high, gets a little bit more bounce than you might expect, and often going for the pull too early on without really getting used to his pace can get you into trouble. High up on the bat there as he tries to attempt the pull shot.
Well, he's given it the kitchen sink and he'll get 4 for it. Again, it wasn't convincing, but the key to that stroke was he kept going with it. I think he got halfway through it and thought, oh, boy, it's a bit too wide. Oh, well, I'll let the hands go. And once you've done that, you've got half a chance.
Yes, one of the most dangerous deliveries in cricket, the wide swinging half volley. You think you're there, your eyes light up, it's full, it's wide, it should go to the boundary, and then it just swings on you.
Here's Lance Klusener into the attack for the first time today. That bounding run of his. And he's on the mark straight away, and so is Andrew Flintoff with what we can safely say is as classical a stroke as the one that he whipped through mid-wicket a couple of overs ago. Beautiful stroke. Oh! Marshall Gibbs, well, the hardest critic may say that he dived over it. I would say that the stroke thoroughly deserved to race to the boundary.
Yes, the cynics in the team will be all thinking Sydney Harbour Bridge. But he made a lot of ground to his right, but a great shot there from Flintoff. A little bit over pitch from Klusener, not much swing at this stage, but certainly full face of the bat.
Well, he's going to get runs, 4 of them down to third man. Now that was a genuine outside edge, and it's taken him 40 minutes from one scoring stroke to the next. Whack, there he goes, it's in the air, and it's going to go down to deep backward point third man for 4 runs. Oh, and he's going to get another 4 here far more elegantly. Gibbs is giving chase, and he just beat him to that extra cover boundary, but nicely struck. It's only his second scoring stroke in 39 deliveries, but played beautifully.
Was Cronje just over pitching a little bit? That was very full of a length, but good balance. Body weight right through the ball, good follow through. Excellent.
That's beautifully struck, over-pitched and ill-directed by Klusener, and Vaughan not missing out.
88 for 5 at lunch, just a single between Butcher, Atherton, Hussein and Stewart. It really was dramatic stuff. 16 for Chris Adams, who we all thought played pretty well. He got on his counter-attacking bicycle and did it with some flair. And then a very good partnership, unbeaten 54 between Andrew Flintoff and Michael Vaughan. Vaughan is unbeaten with 33, Flintoff with 35. The South African bowlers, 8 overs, 4 for 28 for Donald. The best of them, though, for me, Shaun Pollock, 8 overs, 1 for 9, in an exemplary example of control on a pitch and in conditions offering him plenty of help. Cronje and Klusner rather more expensive. Right, we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll see how things went in the second session of play. Hello again, 88 for 5, England at lunch. A quite extraordinary morning here at the Wanderers. Now, play should have got underway straight away. The drizzle was only light, but the umpires kept the covers on for quite a long time, and in the end, a full hour of play was lost. We're going to pick it up now with Shaun Pollock bowling to Michael Vaughan, 2 overs into the second session of play here at the Wanderers.
Oh, inside edge, is it? Yes, it is. Flintoff, it's not, it's Vaughan. He's actually gone anyway. I don't think he waited for umpire Venkat. Fantastic delivery from Pollock and a very competent catch indeed from Boucher.
Well, we were just talking about getting the ball in the right position, and we've seen here that Vaughan hasn't been moving his feet forward to cut off the movement of the ball, and that one certainly got the inside edge. You heard the nick as it went through. Shaun Pollock had no doubt. Mark Boucher took the catch most competently, and to his credit, the batsman walked.
A good innings from Vaughan. He wouldn't have needed that break. He held everything together this morning when all fell around him.
And now we have the man from Scotland, Gavin Hamilton, joining the fray. And as we might have expected from a crowd who is small but exuberant, there is the Flower of Scotland being sung for him.
Out, caught third slip by Pollock. Hamilton is out for naught on debut. Donald makes it 5 for the innings.
Well, absolutely superb bowling from Allan Donald here. This one had to be played, bounced, it seemed, and it got the outside edge. Good catch too from Shaun Pollock. So England lose their 7 wickets. 7th wicket for 91.
Another 0 in the England lineup. Flintoff's gone. Pollock strikes. England just sink lower.
Well, you could hear the cry of anguish from Andrew Flintoff as he fiddled outside the off stump for that one. That really was a soft dismissal, and England lose their 8th wicket now for 91. Close again to the stumps. This one short and wide, and look at their feet nowhere, just pushing out. Really not the shot of a good batsman, and Mark Boucher has his easiest catch of the innings.
Well, as he looked at that again, it looked like a totally different player to the one that we'd seen before lunch. A good innings nonetheless from Andrew Flintoff. 38, caught Boucher bowled Pollock, England 91 for 8. In the air and backward a square. Leg gully was the place somebody needed to be, but you can't have them everywhere. Very, very good bouncer, and the end of the over. 32 overs gone, 92 for 8. It's a good shot from Caddick. Planted a big heavy bat on that. Pollock just over pitching, and 4 valuable runs.
You can see what I've been saying is that he does get the bat straight, and using his height he hits it well through the line. So he can be very useful, particularly when the ball is old and is not moving around much, and he's certainly a fighter.
Driven down the ground by Goff. That'll go for 4. Very fine shot indeed.
We've just been talking about the outfield and how I believe that we shouldn't have had a mid-on. And Alan Donald moved this particular over, his mid-off, his cover fielder to mid-on, so there's this big gap on the offside. You can see how he's smiling ruefully there because he knows that he's just moved the man across and left that big gap. And Darren Goff took advantage of it. So the England 100 comes up.
Oh, and again.
Well,
And an inside edge, he's got him. I thought it was exactly what had happened earlier in the over, but no, Caddick got a little inside edge. He went immediately, didn't have to wait for umpire Orchard. And England have lost their 9th wicket. Donald's got his 6th.
This really was a superb bit of bowling, and it was capped by an equally good bit of wicket-keeping. Now look how far Mark Boucher has to go to his left. He does it very quickly, takes it with 2 hands, rolls over very expertly, and just a nonchalant toss of the ball as a result. Andrew Caddick goes for 4, and England now 103 for 9.
In he goes, Donald to Goff. And Goff has a swing at 1, and I think he's got it pretty well in the meat of the bat, and it will go for 4. As he played it, it looked as though he might not have enough on it to get to the boundary, but it has done so, and 4 valuable runs to Goff. Oh, and that's going to go for... No, it won't go for 4. There's a man down at fine leg. Gary Kirsten will get round. It was just out of reach of Mark Boucher. Leg byes anyway, so it wouldn't have counted. We were just talking about maybe that mid-on going into the leg gully area, and he might have been in business there. In fact, that came off the chest in the end.
Mark Boucher 5 catches, took 6 in innings, twice against Pakistan and against Sri Lanka, both in the 97-98 season.
Well, that's as agricultural a shot as you can ever hope to see from a man who can play a good deal better than that, but he's decided that I think that Mullally won't last too long, so he's going to have an almighty go at this. Oh, it's going to be 6. And it's a mighty one, too. Well, he'll talk about that for a long time. Well, Alan Mullally. Oh, and he even waves the bat to the dressing room.
It's extraordinary how it got there. At first we thought it was a glove and it might loop up to the wicketkeeper. Then we thought it might loop over the wicketkeeper. Then we thought, is it a catch for long leg? It is actually the bat with a very open face, and it has flown rows back into the bleachers.
Is he out? They go up for it, but I don't think umpire Orchard's going to give it. I think that might have come off the shoulder or the chest or something. But you can be sure after that ball sailing for 6 that Alan Donald's retort was going to be violent.
6 inches in it. That is quick, very quick.
That will be a big appeal, and up will go the finger. Yes, and the innings has ended at 122. Umpire Venkat sends him on his way, and the South African opening batsman Gary Kirsten and Herschel Gibbs trot ahead of the team. They want to get up the stairs and into the dressing room to get those pads on.
Well, Venkat will umpire a lot more in his time. He won't find many easier. You could make all sorts of arguments about the height of that ball and all sorts of things, but if you're an umpire down there, I can tell you that's out. 122 all out England. Vaughan got a really good one to be dismissed for 33. 38 to Flintoff. He played the one indeterminate stroke, but it was a very fine performance from him. He went ahead and played his strokes, and some fun at the end there from both Alan Mullally and Darren Goff. The South African bowling, all about 2 men. Alan Donald, 15 overs, 6 for 53, and everybody was wondering this morning whether he was fully fit to play. He did really well. And the best of them, in my view, Shaun Pollock, 14.4 overs, 4 for 16, and a very fine display of swing and seam bowling. OK, we're going to get straight into South Africa's reply. We'll pick it up with Herschel Gibbs and Gary Kirsten at the crease.
Kirsten off the mark. South Africa on their way towards the 122 they have to get for a lead. It's kept the fielder interested, but just reaches the boundary.
Again, some nice in-swing from Goff, and what Kirsten does well here is he doesn't commit too early to get onto that front foot. So he's got enough time to adjust to the swing, get that front leg out the way, and play it through the vacant mid-wicket area.
It's a good shot from Kirsten. Whether it'll get all the way is debatable. Mullally in pursuit. He'll just haul it in, but there just might be 4. Anyway, there are. All run 4. That's sore. That's sore, but where? Is it the hand again?
In that area, just between maybe the ribs and the hip. Extra bounce again from Keddick. Off a length, right up into those ribs.
There'll be the appeal for LBW here, but umpire Orchard doesn't want to know.
Well, Goff just gives a sly little look at the umpire, and that's a good shout. But on this wicket, anything on the front foot and where it's hit the batsman above the knee roll, there's always a good chance it's going to go over the top. This will show us, or give us a better idea.
Yes, we've seen a lot of deliveries go over the stumps as it is today. Well, there's one of the shots that I was talking about, and he's got it through, and it will go to the boundary for 4. So, on cue almost, he does throw the bat at the ball.
Yes, and I somehow think that perhaps a little bit disturbed by the previous delivery and the shout, the pressure that it brings. A little bit of width, and Herschel Gibbs needs no invitation.
That just flicked a pad. Up went the arms behind the stumps, and Caddick was up for the appeal. I think more for LBW than for the noise it made, the snick noise.
Yes, these last 3 deliveries have really been testing. He's got the line absolutely right, just slightly straighter than he did in the previous overs.
He gets one pitched up for a change. Caddick hasn't offered many of those, and he didn't really play it with much flourish. It was more defensive forward push, but because there's nobody in that area at all behind the bowler, he was able to get 3 runs. Oh, that's a lovely shot. Shot of the innings, through the covers, 4 runs. And it ends Caddick's 7th over. South Africa now 37 for no wicket. There we see that lovely shot again from Gibbs.
Oh, I thought that had got through for the... Heard a clatter. I thought maybe it had squeezed through between bat and pad.
Yeah, a couple of funny sounds. I think it hit the visor. Let's have a look again at that. Bat up there onto the back of the visor and then down the arm. My goodness. I think he's had lessons from David Copperfield.
Went up. It's an amazing... it hit his arm, went up the back, hit at the back of the helmet, came back down his leg, and he was actually very fortunate it didn't roll onto the stumps. It's the pad. Is out! Umpire Orchard has given Gary Kirsten out, LBW to Allan Mullally, and England get the first South African wicket with a score on 37. Kirsten LBW to Mullally for 13.
Well, Dave Orchard took a long time to decide here. Gary Kirsten moving across as he usually does, the ball angling into him, beating the inside edge of the bat and hitting the pad. Big appeal, and then the delay, and then David Orchard nods and says yes.
So Kirsten out for 13, 37 for 1. Jacques Kallis's burgeoning Test career, averaging over 40 now, and that's evidence of a player of real class. Oh, little brush on that. Now, was it pad or bat? 4 byes, so it didn't touch a thing. Just took off as it hit the crease line, perhaps. And at that pace, it doesn't touch anything. It just flies away, and Alex Stewart at no price.
It really did take off, and I don't blame Gerald for thinking there was a brush on it, because it went so fast that one thought it had to be a bat, but it just hit the seam in the right place, and Alex Stewart found wanting again. That's when one feels really sorry for the wicketkeeper.
Well, that'll go away to backward point. No, it won't go all the way. And a couple to Herschel Gibbs. Takes him to 20.
Very nicely angling the ball away past Gavin Hamilton there at point. Just the opening of the face to get into the gap there.
Oh, now that is vicious, and it's again, I think, referring to what Lee Irvin was talking about earlier, those bruises that were inflicted on the pitch by the South African fast bowlers are creating already some indifferent bounce. We've seen one squat to Gibbs, and now we've seen one take off into the chest, and Kallis did really well to keep that out, and he'll enjoy the drinks break now. But let's just have a look at this last one. Just took off spitefully, and Kallis did really well. He was behind it, as he always is.
That's beautifully bowled and acknowledged by the batsman.
But look where it pitches. See, you bring him forward, and you can see clearly from that particular picture that his foot isn't properly planted. So he's late coming forward.
Well, 4. No arguing.
That's super batting. Shot selection is the key. The shot may look risky because it's gone in the air, but the fact is, on a pitch which is bowler friendly, if you're given width and it's in the right arc, there's no harm in throwing the kitchen sink at it, as long as you do throw the whole of the sink at it.
That's well bowled. Now, did that carry? I don't think it did. Four. Not the most convincing, but 4.
No, England have found something here. There's no doubt. They're working in an area on Kallis where they think he might not be at his best. Just get it short of the length, get him back, and get him to play away from his body. They think that he's good coming forward. It can't be a coincidence that they haven't pitched the ball up more at him, particularly Goff. And he is playing away from his body a bit. When proceedings finished for the day, 64 for 1 was the score. That is a lead of 58 runs for England. But of course the key thing is South Africa have 9 wickets in hand. 13 to Gary Kirsten, 28 unbeaten to Herschel Gibbs, and 6 unbeaten to Jacques Kallis. If we have a look at the England bowling figures, we'll see 1 for 10 from Alan Mullally. Tidiness all round, but maybe not quite the threat that was posed by Alan Donald and Shaun Pollock this morning. They really did bowl outstandingly well. After play, I had a chat to Alan Donald, but first, the scene yesterday of one of the